So a lot of people ask me, Bhai Sahib, you keep talking about forgiveness. Can you really forgive? And my normal answer is, today, go home, hug your mom, hug her, and ask mom, can you forgive me? Because mothers, from the day they conceive to the day the child may pass on, they're always forgiving. Always forgiving. So forgiveness is a very, very powerful thing. To get to God, you got to forgive. Because God is also forgiving us all the time. Sad bakshind. You ask people, how many times can God forgive? 10 times? 3 times? This is forgiving all the time. And to reconcile, if you don't forgive, you don't bury the past, you will not get on. Reconciliation is important. And I remember there was a conference on reconciliation, and I used the word cremate the past, because in our tradition we don't bury, we cremate. So the people were very unhappy. Why did you use this word cremate the past? I said we have to get a moral out of the situation, and then we have to bury it. But I am trying to emphasize, when you bury, there is a sign, there is a cross somewhere. And I'm emphasizing, you must cremate the past in a way. You have learned a lesson. Because if you don't do that, how will you reconcile? Reconciliation and forgiveness go hand in hand. Imagine if the governments can forgive other governments, individuals can forgive other people, we would have a very peaceful world. So from a very early age, I'm passionate about forgiving. I had lost my mother when I was 4 years and 7 months. And I could not understand where my mom was gone. Nobody was able to explain to me what death is. So I was blaming God, I was blaming everybody. My dad could not explain to me where my mom was. So I used to kill a few ants, because I came to learn that nothing happens without God's will. So I wanted to explore now. If I kill an ant, who is responsible? Is it God? Is it me? And each time I said, it is me, I am the one who killed the ant. And then I learned that in our life, God's will is paramount. But within that paramount God's will, we are allowed a bit of flexibility. If we were not allowed a bit of flexibility, we couldn't make progress. So God has given us reasoning power, so we can differentiate what is good and evil. And this is why those actions are mine. So even today, I feel pain. Why did I kill those ants? Why should I kill those ants? They were going about doing their own business. I picked up a pebble and killed 1 or 2. So I said, I learned to forgive then. I said, I have to forgive my dad, not explaining where my mom was. I had to reconcile with this idea of God's will and my action. And so I learned that ultimately it is the thought process which goads you to action. Thoughts, as you entertain thoughts, you sow seeds. You can have good thoughts, loving thoughts, you can have revengeful thoughts. Each one will set up a crop and you will have to harvest that. So you have to control your thought process. So mind is your best friend and the worst enemy at the same time. It is like taming the shrewd mind. Is like Mustang. They say Mustang is a wild horse. You have to lovingly control your mind, lovingly. And then you are able to control your actions. And this brings about values. We have a principle of 5. There are 5 senses, the 5 fingers, and the first value or virtue is compassion. There's no religion without compassion. That's the foundation. And within that, there is forgiveness. Compassion must lead to forgiveness. Otherwise, you can feel very compassionate, but you never forgive. So you know there is a charter for compassion. Karen Armstrong has done it. And so I like that very much. Compassion is very important. But I thought we need to have forgiveness also. I can feel compassionate, but I don't forgive. That doesn't help me. So that's the first one. And then the second virtue is accountability, transparency. You must be truthful. The third one is contentment. Whatever God gives you, you must be content. You mustn't keep on yearning for more and more. Then you should be humble. And the last one, you must love God and love everybody, all creation. You can't love God and say, I don't like a scorpion for that matter. He's made that. You have to love everybody. But the paradox is, we are also split personalities. We have another 5, almost demons. That is lust, uncontrolled sexuality, then vengeance. We want to take revenge. Then greed, then unnecessary attachment with things, and then ego, edging God out. When you edge God out, what remains is this big I. You're very arrogant then. And that causes big problems. Arrogance is the worst human affliction. I mean, my heart is beating away, my lungs are breathing. I don't have the control. Who has the control? Somebody up there. Call it by any name. Allah, Waheguru, I don't know what. Even if you say it is a superpower, I am happy. The Buddhists don't believe in a God, doesn't matter. But somebody else is responsible. So these values and vices coexist. If you're able to mobilize these, then you're a good human being. And this must start very early. Education begins at conception. So the mothers have a big responsibility. If the mothers, and of course the husbands also, if the husbands keep giving their wives grief, and there's domestic violence, all sorts of problems, the unborn child will suffer. The 9 months are crucial. If the mother has good thoughts, loving thoughts, she will have a beautiful baby, good human being. So these are values. They are not abstract, they are very real. But we have to start very early. And so we have, in the last 4 years, opened about 5 schools. We have Sikh ethos, multi-faith schools, value-led. We came up with 24 moral and spiritual dispositions in 2007 because UNICEF said, in England we have a failed generation. And that was a wake-up call for me. Who has failed these kids? It's the elders, definitely. Don't blame the kids. So what was happening? Nobody was teaching them about compassion, about being humble, about forgiving. No. So these are the values we are saying are a must. So we teach these in our schools, and we are getting outstanding results. So once we had created the 24 moral and spiritual dispositions, I said these will lie on the shelf. We must have a project. So the project was schools. And then we are also working on a museum of world's religions. This will be the second museum, whereby we don't want to put artifacts, distill values from all the faiths of this world to inspire children and adults, motivate them to become good human beings. So it's a big project, about 60-70 million pounds, and we want to do it in Birmingham. So all the endeavors now are trying to inculcate values and virtues in kids. So I am very, very humbled to be part of Religions for Peace, because religions must advocate and practice peace. We have to have faith, solidarity. Yes. So every time I come here, I talk to Bill, I get inspired, I go back and start doing things which I had not thought of. He's a gem of a person.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your insightful perspective on love and forgiveness. And so as a co-president and international trustee of Religions for Peace, what has your work with Religions for Peace meant to you and your community?
Well, it has meant a lot. We're all insignificant, but whatever we can contribute does help. Little drops make an ocean. Wherever we can, we share, we try and see how we can support. And I think Religions for Peace is the biggest interfaith organization. And interfaith is very, very important. We are living in a multicultural, multi-faith society. Your neighbors can be of different faiths. So unless you meet with them, you respect them, you will not be able to create peace. So interfaith is very important. And I come from a tradition, the Sikh faith. Our first guru had two companions, constant companions. One was a Muslim, one was a Hindu. And he spent 28 years traveling, meeting up with people. These are called melancholy travels. He felt pain for humanity. He went to Mecca, he went to Medina, he went to the Vatican, he went to Jerusalem, and he was talking with people. He felt pain that society was not having these values of love and compassion, killing each other and so on and so forth. So our first place of worship, which is called a Gurudwara, the foundation stone was laid by a Muslim. So we have contributors who are Muslims, Sufis and Hindus within our sacred text. So everything is interfaith, multi-faith. So this comes to us naturally. So with Religions for Peace, see, I took to it with great gusto.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for visiting Religions for Peace International, and it's our great honor to interview you. And we wish you a good trip here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lovely.